Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm continuing my look at classic Doctor Who. I've been looking at the third and fourth Doctor stories. And today's story is The Masque of Mandragora from 1976. This is the 14th season, and it's the first story of the 14th season. We've had previously, at the end of last season, was The Seeds of Doom. And the next episode story after this, the next story will be The Hand of Fear, which sadly was Sarah Jane's departing story. Yes. Anyhow, this was transmitted between the 4th of September and the 25th of September. It's it's 4 parts. It was written by Louis Marks. Louis Marks had also been involved with Doctor Who before. He'd written Planet of the Giants, 1964. And of course, the brilliant Day of the Daleks from 1972. And also The Planet of Evil. Yes, do you remember The Planet of Evil, 1975? He wrote that. Yes. So we've got, as usual, Hinchcliffe and Holmes, producer and scriptwriter, doing a brilliant job. They're so into it now. Everything's running well and smoothly. Fantastic, isn't it? And it's directed by Rodney Bennett. Rodney Bennett, who's directed 2 previous Doctor Who stories of the 4th Doctor. He was The Ark in Space, 1975. Also, The Sontaran Experiment from 1975 as well. Yes, fantastic stuff. Yes, you can't say fairer than that, can you? Yes. And this is a brilliant story, really. It looks good. It looks fantastic. And I think the main reason that makes this stand out as a story is it's an historical one, and the location of Port Meriam in Wales, most famous, of course, for being involved with, well, it was The Prisoner. Everybody who loves The Prisoner knows it. And they brought this into the story, and it's brilliant. So that really makes the story stand out. But we're just going to the cast. We've got Tom Baker, who's playing the Doctor, of course. We've got Elizabeth Sladen playing Sarah Jane Smith. We've got John Lorrimore playing Count Frederico. He's been in so many TV series, just loads of TV series, you know. Incidentally, he was in an episode of The Prisoner as well. Avengers, Space 1999, all the good stuff. And also, he was in I, Claudius, which I absolutely love. He's a fantastic BBC drama series. It was absolutely wonderful, I, Claudius was. So he's from that. He's got a good background. Yes. And then we've got Gareth Armstrong playing Giuliano. He's it's all TV and theatre, all that sort of stuff he's involved in. And then we've got Tim Pigott Smith. He plays Marco. Now, he's very interesting. He was in The Claws of Axos, 1971. What a story that is, from the 3rd Doctor. But he's gone on to really have some good film roles. in good films. I'll just pick a couple of films. He was involved in Johnny English, Rowan Atkinson one. That's 2003. He was in, now this is a very cult classic film, V for Vendetta, 2005. And he was in a James Bond film. We've got a James Bond connection, Quantum of Solace, 2008, which I know is not everybody's favourite, and I can see why as well. But yes, he's still got a James Bond connection. Yes. Then we've got Norman Jones playing Hieronymus. You know, the bad guy. You got to have these bad guys, haven't you? The real bads guy. Now he's got Doctor Who history. The Abominable Snowman, 1967. We got Doctor Who and the Solarians, 1970. Well, this immediately excited me. I just found out he's got a James Bond connection. He was in possibly my favourite James Bond film, which is You Only Live Twice from 1967. He was in that. You can't go wrong. And then, to top it all, he's in the Vincent Price, The Abominable Dr. Fives in 1971. Wow. Love it. I love these connections. And then we've got Robert James playing the High Priest. Again, another, as an actor can really get over top with his parts. And he was in Patrick Troughton's The Power of the Daleks from 1966. Wow, yes. Oh, fantastic. And then, just to top it all off, for me, we've got a Hammer connection. He was in Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter from 1974. You can't say fairer than that, can you? So they're just some of the sort of major cast elements in this story. And it's amazing. It's what is this story about? Well, it's set in a fictional Italy, a duchy of San Martino in the late 15th century. And the late 15th century is an amazing period because you have got the Reformation come in, the church and state, all that sort of conflict really setting Europe alight, and that's all going on. And the astrologer, who's Hieronymus, who sees himself as he's actually the high priest, the boss above there is some playing the priest and all that, but this guy, he's above that. Yes, he's the number one, or well, he thinks he is, because what's happened is he's managed to summon. Well, he thinks he's summoned, but yes, they all think that, these madmen. Anyhow, this alien intelligence, which is the Mandragon Helix, like they do, they say, "Oh yeah, we'll help you rule the earth. Hey, you can take control of the earth like all these people do. They love it. I don't know what they do when they got hold of it, but yes, they all think, hey, yeah, I'm into that. I'm into a bit of controlling Earth, and that is the story. But into this environment, of course, you have got the Doctor and Sarah who come here as usual, and what a great story develops as usual with the Tom Baker in brilliant form. Sarah Jane is great. Elizabeth Sladen playing the part beautifully. She knows it inside out. And sadly, as I say, this is a penultimate story before she leaves. The whole, as I've mentioned before, it looks like a BBC costume drama, and they put some effort into that. And BBC are good at doing that. They were at that period of time, and we get this, and then fitting with the location, which the director has brilliantly been able to film to get the right element, because it'd be so easy in an on a set like this to get things very wrong, because you've got to have a certain direction, because it's a major folly sort of area, the Port Marion, and all different styles of architecture, and to get the things that they need for the series is fantastic. And you've got the horses involved in that, the stunt work as well. Terry Walsh again involved with the stunt work. It's interesting that Tom Baker insisted that, as usual, which I think is always good, he knows his character, that the Doctor doesn't kill anybody in these sword fights. No, never. It never. That's really good. The other important aspect, I think, to the story is the introduction of, well, the secondary console, as it's called, which is the wooden one, the beautiful wooden one, which I think we'd seen the other one for so many years, and now people were realizing, perhaps in the sort of designers and techniques, that maybe a change was needed, and we get this one. And of course, this in the end is going to progress into using more adaptations of the console room, and that just develops right to the modern day. It's a major thing in Doctor Who. But yeah, it's interesting to see that the wooden console looks absolutely beautiful. And we see that with Leela and everything when she appears. The famous scene when he's explaining about the TARDIS, and that's all to come. And that's all happens in the wooden console room. Design classics. And of course, we've got, the script is so good. It brings out the conflict between science and religion and superstition, and the very prospects that if science hadn't have won, and superstition and all that kind of philosophy won over, then we wouldn't have the developments that were needed, and it would have massive effects. And of course, as a Time Lord, that Doctor knows all this, and it's fascinating. Again, you can't have some bloke ruling the world and putting everything back, can you? You can't, no. So but in reality, in historical reality, this is what was happening, and we get the great debates from the Reformation about science and religion and fantastic stuff, and it's all here in a tea time show. Yes, but of course it's more the adults are watching as well, and it's all in there on the undercurrents. If you can read it, or you can read all sorts into this thing, but it's a great. This story was released on VHS in 1991. The DVD release was in 2010. And I'll just quickly show you it. Here's the DVD. Great cover. All the extras on it. Look at that disc. And of course, the sort of where you get a bit of rundown about the episode. You always get this little thing in here. Brilliant. And yeah, that's the DVD release. But yes, I can do this now. Here we are. Season 14 on Blu-ray. Look at this beauty. Yeah, this is the first story on here, of course. Oh yes, and it's got all these wonderful extras, as is this. This has got good extras, but this is even better. It's a Blu-ray release. What a season. And I'm so happy to have this, of course. It's a great look at that. Wonderful. Anyhow, that's on here. I'm going off again. Well, that's it. I think I've gone on too much. Yes. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I put out all these videos of, usual stuff, film reviews, some TV things, collecting, this and that, all with a nostalgic base often. But I don't do current stuff as well. But yeah, there we are. And also, if you like this video, please give it a like. It helps with algorithms and all that stuff, where other people then might learn about these videos and try them out. I'll perhaps they'll like them, and perhaps what, I don't know. But it all costs no, so hey, buy it. You can't say fairer than that, can you? No, you can't. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I really love to read your comments. And yeah, it's thank you so much when you do comment. It's great. And I try and answer them all, but sometimes the blooming computers don't always let me know when these comments are made. But hopefully most of them I do comment. And I do. Right. That's it. I've gone on far too much. Right. So all I gotta say is I'll see thee again.